So, hello everybody. It's been quite a long time since I did my Sundays with Safaya videos, and this is the first time I'm doing it in person. Saying thanks for that. Generally, I used to do it on Zoom calls, but I think I met a guy that I really found that it should be something that should be a part of my videos that I generally have. This one is a bit different and rather closer to me as well, even though we haven't known each other for a long period of time. But the topic of the conversation is about cars. So obviously, I mean, I'm not the only one. There are a lot of people that I know of would love to hear more about cars.
That's right.
And how did you get into Mercedes? Because that's how generally I keep the topic of those conversations. So I'll start this time with Sai. Can you help me understand in terms of an introduction, and can you like give a brief introduction about yourself?
Sure. So I am Sai Nischal. In India, I go by Nischal. Here, I go by Sai. It's easier for them to pronounce, I guess. But either way, it's fine. I did my undergraduate in mechanical engineering in Dhanandasagar College of Engineering, which is in Kumaraswamy Layout, Bangalore. And I did my master's immediately after undergrad, so I did not go through a new job or any job between my master's and my undergrad. So I directly flew here, and I pursued my master's in automotive systems in Kettering University. And fun fact about Kettering University, it was formerly known as General Motors Institute. So it is known as GMI. It was a very famous university, especially in the 70s, 80s, because of the boom in these American cars, which we all know and love about, the American V8s especially. And Flint is where my university was, and it was one of the richest areas back in the day, not now, but it was like the Cali of Michigan for the tech boom, I guess. I guess you can compare it to as an automotive boom. So that's where I did my master's. It was for about 1.5 months. I specialized in powertrain. There are a lot of different topics you can specialize in, but I specialized in powertrain. That's where I really like, and that's what I wanted to do at that time. And I'm still in the same domain, so I just stuck onto it.
Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. That's amazing. So I think now the first question that comes to my mind based on what you mentioned is you mentioned you directly moved for your master's after your undergrad. So had you like predefined the thought that that's how you're going to do it, or was it something that just while you were thinking of doing some higher education, you thought I think you're going to do it right now rather than like having that experience and then go? So
yeah, so I did have that thought of either I should work and then go save up some money, or directly go do my master's. So the thing was, I guess my mom trained me to do my master's immediately after my undergrad. So my mind was just set on doing that anyway. Though I did want to earn some money, I just felt that the sooner I go to the US and settle, it would help me out long term. I guess I can gain experience there in the US or here in the US versus in India. I also heard mixed reviews that sometimes the experience in India might not count in USA. That's another point, I guess. But I just did it anyway.
Correct. Perfect. So the next question that comes to my mind, I know that you mentioned to me about your full-time role at Mercedes. Okay. Before we get to generally the full-time roles, how I've seen and how I've experienced is basically all the individuals kind of find an internship or look for an internship first of all. That kind of helps them bring that US soil experience, and then probably that helps them to find a full-time job. So I just want to understand from you, how was your perspective going through that, as like how is it different to rather, because how would I assume it is internship kind of helps you get more and closer to a full-time role, especially the market that I was into. And it's kind of, it helps leverage that information when you are searching for full-time role. So I just want to hear your perspective on that one.
Sure. So I can give some background on that. I was trying to get an internship while I was doing my master's, and I had a really good professor. she was helping me out get an internship, and there's this company called Roush. I don't know if you've heard of the Roush Mustangs. It's a special package for the Mustangs. So they build it for more power. They also make it reliable, and they have I guess they have one facility in Michigan, one in California. So they basically are known for their Mustangs, and they approached my professor, and they're like, is any student looking for an internship? So I was like the first one interested. So I told my professor I'm interested, and that was going well. So I started interviewing for the Roush internship. It took about 3 months. So I think it started around January timeframe, if I'm not wrong, of 2021, I think. And then COVID happened. So when COVID happened, I had the offer, I had the internship. I was very excited to start that, but then COVID happened and they stopped all the in-person jobs, right? So they cut down all the in-person work and everyone's working from home, and like, what will I do there, right? So they kind of canceled the whole program. So that's how I didn't have an internship, but I had it, I didn't have it.
Wow.
So I never got to do an internship, and by the time that phase went through, I graduated from my master's. So I decided to look for a full-time job directly instead of an internship. So I didn't focus much on internship at that point. I figured that it would be easier for me to get into an internship. And I guess I can also tell the first job which I got was in John Deere, which is their green tractor company.
Yeah.
I guess every kid has that small tractor. So it's that company, and I initially joined there as a contractor. I was there for about 5 to 6 months, and then I moved to another company called FEV, which is a German company in Michigan, and from there I moved to Mercedes now.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now I want to move towards my next question, basically.
Yeah.
So how was it finding a job? I know that you had an internship offer in hand, but I feel like there are a lot of times that people consider that the US soil experience would have mattered a lot.
Yeah.
So how was that experience of getting into John Deere, considering that you didn't have an internship?
Right.
And I don't know if you would remember the numbers of application. I'm sure it would be a lot, good enough bunch of application that you had applied to. So was there any point of time while you were getting into those full-time roles, and before getting the offer from John Deere, that you would have thought, okay, probably the internship would have helped? Or how did you tackle that situation of finding the full-time roles of yourself?
Correct. So definitely an internship would have helped me get a job easier and faster probably, but it didn't stop me, I guess, for looking for a job, I guess. My worry was more with other people telling me, especially my seniors, they themselves were not able to find jobs because of COVID, and how will I find if they are ahead of me in this game and they're struggling? How will I find? So I knew a lot of seniors who would do this paid internship. Like, you pay for the internship, you get to learn things. It was a company called LER Tech Force. I think you can learn more stuff other than the university, and that kind of helps in getting a job because they also have a contract house. So they were doing those kind of I guess unique job pickings, I guess. But I just went on applying, and luckily in university I had some experience with engine calibration. So I was part of the student clubs, which is the Formula SAE, and since we were in Michigan, we are known for snowmobiles too, so we had a snowmobile team, and I was part of the snowmobile team and also the calibration lead for that. So I learned a lot of things in those clubs and those projects. So that's why my professor knew me, and she tried to help me out, and that experience was good enough to translate it for John Deere's, I guess, for that opportunity in John Deere. So I used that as a leverage to get a job in John Deere. I also got an offer from Caterpillar, so I had 2 places to pick from. I got it back to back, but I picked John Deere over Caterpillar. I don't know why. I don't know the number of applications which were in the John Deere market, but I did know that there were a lot of people applying for the COVID.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah,
understand.
COVID time.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, so now I think I also wanted to understand that you did your undergrad and your masters probably in a more similar domain, if not the exact same domain.
Yeah.
And then the companies that you also worked in are also in the similar domain. If I had to, I don't know if I can categorize all into the automotive sector,
Right.
the internships, the jobs, and the universities, and
Yeah.
the subjects that you took in.
Right.
So I just want to start the conversation now midway into that. How, like, was that getting into cars always onto your mind?
Mhm.
I mean, there's a reason I put the Hot Wheels at the back end. I just want to put that part as well.
Yeah.
So I want to understand that I myself, including a lot of others that I know of, were interested in cars at an early age.
Mhm.
But I feel like for most of us, as I know, if I'm not mistaken, that somehow the interest dies because we feel like that I know we cannot make enough money on those. I don't know like what happens at the end of the day, but I want to learn from you. How were you able to, like, when did that fire start, and how are you able to continue that fire up until today?
So the money part is true.
Okay.
You don't make much money in automotive, but I guess the fire was within me. I don't know, since my childhood. I guess we always played Most Wanted or NFS Underground or so many of these car games. But I always had interest in them, so I would read a lot of Wikipedia. I would remember exactly the engine specs and what engine it had. I can like identify cars. So whenever I was outside on the road too, I could identify any car, is what my mom would say at least. So it was easy for me to tell which car is what, or the color. Sometimes there are limited editions of cars, right? So I knew all of those nitty gritty stuff back when I was a kid itself. And then I always had interest in karting and I guess racing. So I never was able to do that back in those days, and also we didn't have that many facilities in India back then. So that's how it started. And then I slowly, during engineering, it's when it actually peaked up. I was also doing this weird thing called chasing cars. So in Bangalore, there's a lot of people who chase cars. They do a lot of automotive photography and I guess videography. All these supercar owners, they bring their cars out on Sundays or Saturdays in UB City area and they take photos. You would have seen them on Instagram for sure. So that's how I was doing. I would say that I was one of the initial few people who were doing that. Now it's way more, which is good. But I was like one of the initial few people who was doing that. While I was chasing cars there, I understood that I had to do something else, I don't want to do like a normal job, I don't want to do a 9 to 5 job, so that's where I was stuck in. But I was doing my undergrad back then, and I also had my motorcycle. It was a KTM RC390.
Wow.
Yeah, which I still have. I bought it back, I think, 2 months ago. It's at my friend's house, but I still have the motorcycle, and that's where I learned more, I guess, physical things about the motorcycle and how to work on motorcycles is what I'm trying to say. In terms of, I would sometimes not take it to the mechanic. I would do it at home. So I would do the oil changes at home. Back in Bangalore itself. I would create a mess, but we have to learn one way or the other, right? I also learned how to ride a motorcycle the proper way. There's a lot of things to learn, and then I guess in the ending stages of my India journey, I was doing all these smaller track days with the motorcycles. I used to take the motorcycle on the go-kart track. We used to practice. That was a lot of fun. I was not great at it, but it was fun.
That's great.
So I always had that interest, and I also took my mom's. She had a Swift. It's a red color Swift. But it had a really good engine. It was a 1.3. I didn't know too much about it, but now if people talk about that engine is really good. So I did put an exhaust on it. I put a huge RPM gauge, but that's all I did. I took it on the track. That was my first time ever on a track. I didn't know what I was doing.
Wow.
I just went for it, and my mom was there at her birthday, so I remember that.
Wow.
So I just went on the track. I'm like, this seems fun. I want to do this more and more. But then that was the transition when I was coming to the US. So as soon as I came to the US, I continued that phase.
Perfect. Got it.
Yeah,
Perfect. Okay. So that's how the fire continues. Perfect.
Yeah.
So now I want to learn also into the reason I also asked this question was because how I mean my next question is kind of pivoting into how did these background conversations or the work that you did learning hands-on help you in the interviews. But before I get to that question, I want to ask, so I know about that tattoo, and then I feel like if anybody is watching, probably they might, if they can see the tattoo right now, they might be interested in what it is. So first I want to ask about that tattoo, and then I'll try to pivot it more towards...
Sure, yeah. So this tattoo, I got it during my engineering. It's all car parts. It's a rotary engine, so I was just fascinated by how this specific engine, it's called the Bankel rotary. It's a Dorito, they call it the Dorito engine. I was always fascinated how this works, and it kind of sounds really nice. Like when you hear the Mazdas, that's what I was a fan of. If you hear the cars which have this engine, they have a very unique sound. It's like the two-stroke RX 100, but for cars. So it sounds kind of something like that, but sounds really nice, and it also has a very long rev range. So that's why I was always fascinated by it. I always wanted a car with that. So I still need to buy a car which has this engine. It's a high maintenance engine, but someday, one day, I'll buy it.
Sure.
Yeah, but otherwise I have a piston and a turbocharger. I have like a wrench. Then this is the JDM logo or the learner. It's like the learner's license, or if you're learning to drive a car, they put that sticker on the back of the windshield on the glass, I guess.
Wow.
So I guess that time when I got the tattoo, I always used to think that I'm always learning something new every day, so it's something to associate with that. The tattoo is a little faded, I need to get it redone, but that's the story behind
the that's
tattoo.
Great. Oh no, that's perfect. I think the learning part is kind of really important because I think that's everybody. I think for me to reach to what you've learned in terms of car, I think I'll take a lot of time, and then I'm sure you also have your goals in terms of learning more, obviously. Perfect. Okay, now I'm gonna switch gears more towards your interviews. For example, at John Deere and Mercedes. How were the interviews like? And I want to differentiate in a bit that because of your background and your experience, especially doing your hands-on jobs in terms of what you learned, was it something different? And how did it? Let's start it in a way like, did it help in the interviews? And if yes, how was that experience?
Sure. So the John Deere interview process, I would say on a difficulty scale of 10, it was not super difficult. It was probably like a 7, I would say. My Roush interview was more difficult.
Oh, okay.
So I was stressing really bad during the interview. They asked a lot of technical questions, and they knew that I'm still a student and I just graduated, so they would ask me more in relation to what I did as a student. So they were asking me questions about my Formula SA in the Snowwheel Challenge and how I was able to do my work. I was mainly doing calibration, wiring harness, so building a custom ECU tune for the vehicle. So all the questions were related to that. And since I just graduated, I could answer most of them pretty well. And I only had 2 rounds of interviews. So one was the technical round, which was with my manager back in that day, and the second round was with the HR. So only 2 rounds, luckily, and they gave me an offer in pretty much 2-3 days, if I remember. And then they wanted me to move early. They needed an urgent position, so I was kind of flexible to move. So I got the job and just drove to Iowa, and it was really helpful in terms of gaining all this knowledge during university, and now I've become more hands-on because at university I was able to do more hands-on work wrenching is not something I used to enjoy. Even now, I do like it. At the same time, sometimes I don't like it. It could be a pain. So that kind of helped too. And I feel like the more you dig into things, you learn more new, interesting facts about vehicles. So even now, I feel like whenever I try to do something new, I learn something. So that helped. But in John Deere, it is a small town. It's called Waterloo, Iowa. It's in the middle of a cornfield, literally. So everything around you is cornfields. The only activities you can do there is pubs, and if you want to go to an Indian restaurant or you want to do anything else, you have to drive at least an hour, at least 1.5 hours, I would say, to like Cedar Point. Yeah. So it was a far drive to do any other activity. So you're pretty much stuck home, and otherwise you have to drink a lot. So that was how it started, and then I like Michigan more. So I moved back to Michigan for that reason, and my Michigan interview process was also pretty interesting. They had asked me a lot of technical questions. They asked me more about my car. So back in the day, I used to have a 2013 Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution 10. It's a long name, but it's basically a rally car. You would have heard of it, or you would have played in NFS, I'm pretty sure. I like older cars. I personally get attracted to them more. But this was a car I had, and my manager asked me questions on my car rather than technical questions. So he was testing me and the car. And he liked me. He liked me just for having that car, having the knowledge about how my car works, because my car was not stock. It was not like I bought it from a dealership and that's it. Everything was changed on it. It had almost like $15,000 parts on just the car alone. So it had a lot of upgraded stuff. It was making more power than factory. So it was making almost twice the horsepower. So he was curious as to how I did all that and how I got the car. So he was asking me questions on that.
Is it okay? I don't know if you would remember in terms of what kind of questions was he asking? Just trying to understand.
Yeah. So he was asking me about what intake I had, what fuel injectors I used, how did I tune the car. So we have to use a special device, to get read the ECU and then flash a tune into it. How did the tune happen? What is the power numbers it's making? Interesting fact about that car is it used to run on 2 fuels. One is regular premium octane fuel, so 91, 93 octane. The other map is ethanol, so it used to run on 85% ethanol. So he was asking me questions on how did you do the tuning for ethanol. So ethanol, I don't know if it's a big thing in India now. E20, I used to run E85, so 85% ethanol is basically running on Jack Daniels. That's what it is. So when it used to run ethanol, it used to make a lot more power. It used to consume twice as much as the fuel. But he was asking me questions based on that. And what are the suspension modes, which is not related to work, but we got carried away in the conversation.
No, I completely understand. I think I'll get carried away if we continue the conversation. I can understand how it may feel like. Perfect. I think one more question that I generally ask, probably the last question that I generally do is, let's say probably if you were like 21 again, what is something that you would want to change in terms of your career, of what you've done? I mean, I personally feel like I think you've pivoted in the right path. You've gone through straight like an arrow on how things should be, but I think you would yourself obviously know more than me how what you would want to change. The reason I'm asking that question is that I feel like there are people who are watching this who would be in their early 20s or just right about probably graduating this year. So what should they do different than what you've done, or what are the similarities you feel like you should do the same thing? If you want to share some thoughts.
Sure. So it's a tough question to answer for me at the age of 21. I think I would have done the same thing again. But if I was probably a little younger, let's say 15, 16, I guess I wish I would have been trained to be a driver, a race car driver. So that's always been my interest in. So I wish I was into go-karting and in that stream of things. Provided it's a very expensive sport and you need a lot of money. You also need personal mechanics, I guess, to work on your vehicles, or you learn to do it yourself. But I wish I was in that zone of things, still related to cars. That's the only change. But I guess at 21, though, I do not know any other way, I guess. I still wanted to pursue the passion for cars, and I couldn't see that in India yet at that time. But now I can see a lot of changes happening in India, which I'm pretty happy about. There's a lot of drift schools and more racetracks being built and all that. So there's a lot of more media presence for it too, and there's also something like the IPL for go-karting is what I heard, or the Formula 3 series. That's what I heard. So which is nice that they're doing all that. But yeah, I wish they did that back in the day. I would have loved to be part of it. But yeah, that's my answer.
And then I know I had mentioned this was my last question, but I think another thought that I wanted to understand. You came to US for your masters,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I've asked this question off camera as well to you, but I think I'll just repeat the question for the audience.
Yeah.
From what I know of and from the knowledge that I have, whenever we talk about automotives, we think of Germany.
Right.
So I want to understand from you that why was your preference US over Germany? And then probably a lot of times I've also heard language as a difference, and I know that you also had mentioned again off camera. But I just also want to understand if in case language wasn't a problem, then what you would have done that. So if you're gonna share your thoughts on that.
Sure. So I guess initially for me language was a barrier. I tried to learn German. I think the requirements were A1, A2. You had to finish those and get the certificates. I didn't do well in A1 itself, so I was not really great at learning languages. But that was one of the reasons. Number two is it's also I heard that the masters is free, so you can go and study for free, but the living expenses is quite high. For reference, I think when I did the comparison in Germany for living expenses for 2 years, it's about 30-35 lakhs, somewhere around that range. If that's what I heard at least, provided groceries and this and that. That's another thing, and I guess job market is harder to get into finding a job. So I've also heard that people do a PhD and this and that to prolong their stay there. Those three could be the reasons, but I felt like US is more approachable that way. At least in my time in 2019, it seemed easier to get into the US, and also it's not like automotive is lacking in the US too, which is kind of nice to know because you don't have to pick only one country and then set on it, right? I also have a lot of cousins here. That's another reason probably. It feels more like I won't miss home at least, you know. So I guess I just applied for universities here and I was here, so I just went that way. But yeah, if language was not a barrier, I guess maybe I would have at least tried to apply and see what happens. But I don't know if I would still make it though.
No, I'm sure you will make it, but
Yeah.
thank you so much, Saini, for all your thoughts and inputs, and thank you everybody for watching. I guess I hope you like this video, and Saini has an interesting page, on Instagram, and I would definitely add that link on YouTube. But Saini, if you want to talk about quickly on that Instagram channel as well.
It's called fullsun.addict. I just post car content over on Instagram. I sometimes shoot canyon road videos. I shoot track day videos. I sometimes shoot, I guess, just working on cars in general. People like to watch that, and they also like that I am struggling to work on a car. I guess they find it funny, so a lot of people like that kind of content. So I just post anything related to cars. It could be anything stupid too. But that's what I do, and I'm just trying to grow that channel as well.
I'm sure. Please like, follow, share, and subscribe if in case you have seen the channel. That's great. If not, just have a look at it. I'm sure you like it. I liked it. I followed it. So yeah, thank you so much, Saini.
Yeah, thank you.